Hey guys, how are you today? Good. Okay, I'm very glad to meet you. My name is Dr. Graceffo. You can call me Dr. Antonio if you want to.
Yes.
Okay, and if you're sick, I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm the other kind of doctor. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the other kind of doctor. I'm a university doctor, and I studied in China for my PhD and for my MBA. Now, I got to tell you, usually when I talk in schools, I tell the children that your teachers invited me to talk to you, but actually, I said to your teachers, please can I come talk to these children? It was me, I invited myself. And do you know why? Do you know why?
No.
Okay. Oh, somebody guessed. What?
Economy.
What? The economy book, yeah. I was doing a report on China and Cambodia economy, and I found your book. And I wrote to your teacher, and he told me where to go buy it, and so I went and bought a copy at Monument Books. So who worked on this book? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. You're so smart. So I read this book and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. So basically, for the people watching on video, this is a wonderful book about the Cambodian economy that these brilliant children have written. And you've written it in Khmer and English, right? So, and the English part is brilliant. I can even use this with my students in China. And maybe I'll use the Khmer part with my students in China. Yeah. Maybe not. So listen, I was going to ask you, do you think you are the smartest children in Cambodia?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you what. When I was your age, I was a smart kid. And people said, are you the smartest kid in America? But you're shy, you don't want to say yes. So if somebody says, are you the smartest kid in Cambodia? Yes. I want you to say,
yes.
I'm in the top 10%. Top 10%. I'm not the best. I'm okay. All right. So today, our topic today is about China economy and Cambodia economy. And I know you know a lot about Cambodia economy. You know more than me. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I bought your book and I cited your book. That means I used some information from your book in my paper, and I wrote Leaguer Book 2015.
Oh.
2 times. So you've been cited 2 times now, and that paper will go to China and all over the world. So you guys, thank you for that. So today, I'm going to talk about China economy and Cambodia economy. So who can tell me, what do you know about China? It could be economy or something else. What do you know? Yes?
China invests a lot of money on the government sector.
Okay, very good. Yes?
China has the most population in the world.
Very good. China has the biggest population in the world. Anybody know how many people?
Probably no 1 billion.
In English?
1 billion.
Those are Khmer numbers. In English? 1 billion, not million, billion. 1.3 billion. Very good. Okay, something else. China? Somebody else, yes.
China is the second biggest economy in the world.
Very good. China is the second biggest economy in the world. Look at that. Here we are. Cool. Cambodia flag and China flag equal. Okay, so today we're talking about this is why we're studying about Chinese economy. Now you said China's the second biggest economy in the world. Something else about Chinese economy or about China? Yes.
China invests in like building a stadium for SEA Games.
Very good, right? They're building a stadium for the SEA Games. Good. I think that's the thing I quoted from your book. Something else? Okay. Now, are any of you, are you Chinese?
No.
Speak Chinese at home?
Chinese
Okay.
now.
A lot of my Khmer friends are Chinese Khmer. Okay, so somebody said China's the second biggest economy. Now, when we talk about economy, the size, we talk about GDP. And I know you know that because in your book you had the equation for GDP. I don't even know the equation for GDP. Oh. And if you look here, what just happened?
This way. It come back.
Oh, okay. All right. So here we are. So, okay, so the biggest economy is the United States, and then China, Japan, Germany. Those are the 4 big ones
Oh, Cambodia.
in the world. Okay, what's the population of Cambodia?
6 million.
Okay.
Over.
15 or 16 million? All right. So one of the big questions we're going to talk about today, and this is a very interesting area of economics. This question says, why can a big country like China invest in Cambodia and both people make money? Think about that. You have a richer, bigger, richer country, a smaller country, and you invest, but then both countries can make money. Now, why is that? It's a very special area of economics. All right, so here's general. These are all the big economies in the world. Okay. Why is the China economy important? All right, we've talked about that. China accounts for 23.9% of foreign direct investment in Cambodia. So lots of countries invest in Cambodia, right?
Yes.
But China's the biggest one, and it's almost a quarter of all the investment in Cambodia comes from China. And then, you know, Korea, very big. And how many of you like to listen to K-pop? Korea's investing in K-pop. All right, and then Malaysia, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Sometimes when people are measuring Chinese investment in Cambodia, they get confused between Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China, right? It's three, and even Singapore sometimes. 3 different things. Okay, and down here, Chinese companies have invested in 543 projects. Total amount of $10 billion from 1994 until now.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a lot of Chinese projects in Cambodia. Okay, China is one of Cambodia's most important partners and a large source of Cambodian foreign direct investment. How do we call that, foreign direct investment? FDI, very good. And, well, okay, don't look. What do you think they invest in most? Which area? Construction, you read that. What else?
Industrial.
Industrial. Garments, okay. Right, construction. Oh, and this is a big one. Real estate, right? Maybe your parents talked about this too, right? In Cambodia, real estate, the house price, buying and selling apartments, big business. Oh, and the last one. Raw materials. What is raw materials? What is that? Right, iron and metal. What else? Okay, oil. We usually, when we talk about oil, we talk about energy. Energy includes oil, gas, things like that. Now, what do you think China needs a lot of raw material? They're the biggest buyer of raw materials in the world. Why do they need that? Yeah. Exactly, because they're making a lot of products. So they buy the raw materials and then they make products out of them. Now, one of the main things China buys around the world is iron and steel, but do they buy that from Cambodia? Mm-hmm. No. What do you think they buy from Cambodia? Wood? What's it? Textiles, which isn't really raw material, but you're right. Somebody said wood. Oh, I quoted your book. This is in your book. In 1970, Cambodia had a lot of forest. Mm-hmm. How much?
80%,
70%? I think it was 70. And today, how much?
20%. 28%.
Very good.
Wow.
Very
So
good.
there's a lot.
What is the actual name, the real name of China? What's the whole name? Yes. People's Republic of China. And when did it start?
1949.
And who was the first leader? Mao Zedong. And in Phnom Penh we have a street called
Mao Zedong.
Okay, so this is him. That's his street.
Hello, Putong.
I don't think he ever lived there. Okay, so what do we know about China? Now Mao Zedong was the leader in China from 49 to 1976. All right? What kind of economy did China have, or does it have? What do we call, what's the name we give to that? Very good, communist. Okay. Okay. Now, you're bright kids, and some of you you're going to finish high school, and all of you, I hope you're going to go to university, and you're going to choose what you want to study at university, right? Do you have some idea now?
Yeah.
Of course you do. You're a smart kid. Okay. When we study different things, words will have different meanings. If you study political science, communism has a very special meaning, okay? But for us, because today we are all economists, so for economist terms, we're going to call this communist economy. We had a communist economy. Okay, so who can tell me, now there's another word for communist economy. We call it command economy or planned economy. Why do you think they call it that? Yeah, what is command?
Like you do and you like they control like usually from government like they will have serious rule like you cannot do this, you can only do this.
Very good. Okay, so you use the word control, right? The government controls the economy. Everything is controlled in the economy. In a communist, and another word is communism, socialism, Marxism, Leninism. For us, for economists, these are all the same thing. Okay, when you study political science, they know, oh, this is very different from this one, this one. But for us, it's the same because all we care about is the economy. Okay, how does this affect the economy? So we know that China has what we call a communist economy. What other country near Cambodia? Vietnam and?
Thailand.
Not Thailand. Laos. Vietnam. Yeah, communist. Laos, Vietnam, China. There's two more in the world, do you know? No, not Russia.
North Korea.
North Korea.
And South Korea.
This is the one, even my Chinese students always forget this other one.
Wait.
Ukraine.
Close to the United States.
Canada.
Cuba.
Oh.
Very good. Do you know, you ever heard about Miami?
Yeah.
In America, Miami? In Florida, it's a big beach and people are happy and dance. Cuba is 90 miles away. That's it. From Miami to Cuba is 90 miles. And Miami's very rich and Cuba's not. Now what do we call the economy? In Cambodia and US, what do we call this kind of economy?
Open.
Okay, you call it open? Open market? Okay, that's fine. Okay, Cambodia and US, we call this market economy or free market economy. And again, later when you study a lot, these two words will have a bit different meaning. For today, it's okay, same word. Market economy, free market economy. We also call this market-driven economy. How many of you have water right now? You have water. Okay, you have water. Do you want to buy my water?
No.
Who has no water? You have no water. Do you want to buy my water?
No.
What about 8 hours from now? We sit here for 8 hours. Do you want to buy my water?
Yes.
Yes. How much will you pay for this water?
500 real.
100 maybe.
Yeah. No, you cannot go down. We lock the door and we stay here for 8 hours. 1,000 real. Why did the price go up?
Because
No choice. Scarcity of product. Very good. Okay, he wants to give me 1,000. Who will give me 1,100? Okay, you give me. Who will I sell it to? Him or him? Him. Why? Okay, we call that price the market price. The market. You are the market. The market means all the people who buy things. You are the market, and you set the price. What happens in a communist economy, planned economy? Who sets the price? The government sets the price. Okay. So market economy means the people who are buying determine what they want to pay. Okay, in a planned economy, your communist economy, there's no private ownership. So in China, before 1994, if we think about 1994, before that, you weren't allowed to own anything. Okay, can you imagine? You don't own anything. Okay, during Cambodia, 1975.
Yep.
Khmer Rouge, same thing, right? Didn't own anything, right? Okay, in a planned economy, very few private companies. So if you go to like North Korea today, almost all the companies belong to the government, right? In China, before 1990 or before 1978, most companies belonged to the government. Government owned all the factors of production. What does factors of production mean? Think about that. What is production? Making things. Factors means the things we need to make things. No, the things we need to make things. What do we need? If I want to make things, what do I need? I need raw materials, machines, electricity, labor, workers, right? The government would control all of those things. So even if I had permission to open a factory, maybe I don't have permission to buy steel. If I can't buy steel, I can't make products, okay? So that's under the old system. State-owned enterprise. This is a good word for you to learn. S-O-E, state-owned enterprise. What does that mean? Company owned by the government, right? State, okay. Okay, that's under a completely planned economy. China was one of the poorest countries in the world. In 1974, per capita GDP of $158 a year.
Oh.
Okay? So even the average in Cambodia now, in 1 month, is more than what people used to earn in China for the whole year. Okay, so this system, you think this system works very well?
No.
It's not the best system. It's the worst. You can't say that. Okay, so market economy, our economy, what's different? Who owns the companies? Okay, we call that private. Private, right? The people own the company. Now, do the citizens own all the companies? No. Why? Well, foreigner is still private, right? Because it's not government. Why does the government does own some companies. Why?
You can at least have some control.
Yeah. For example, the water in your house. The government owns the company that brings you the water. Why? Because what if the water company said to you, $1,000 a month? You can't say no, because you need water, right? You can't say no. So the government has to own some companies so they can keep the price fair. Like water is a good example. How about the electricity, right? In Cambodia soon we'll have a train, right? You have a train, right? And you're not going to have private, Mr. Haines train company, right? You can have like one train maybe owned by the government. All right, so in a privately owned market economy, we have companies are owned by the citizens. People are free to choose where they work. They're free to open a business. Can you do that in Cambodia today?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so market economy. The market determines the price of goods, right? Remember our water. You told me how much you wanted to pay, and I sell to the top one. Now what happens if he offered me 1,100 and I said no? Maybe you're very thirsty. You offer me $5. What will happen? Maybe. Have you got water?
Yes.
Would you sell that for $4.50?
Yes. Competition.
Competition. When the price gets too high, when my price gets to $5, then he said, you know what? I'll sell my water for $4.50. How much do you feel that water is worth?
A lot.
How much do you feel it's worth right now? $2? That's not worth $2. The water? Not the bottle. Okay. So in a market economy, when the price gets too high, what happens? Competition. Right. Competition comes in. Okay, but that's a market economy. Price of raw materials, again, raw materials determined by who wants to buy them, how much they want to pay. Allocation of raw materials. How you have a factory and you have a factory, and you both want to buy steel. You're the steel seller.
Steel seller.
Who will you sell to? My friend. No.
I want to know who comes first. Give me the best price.
There you go. Who gives me the best price? I sell to them. And somebody else said who comes first. Also, right? If nobody, and she comes, that's the best price. Right? Okay, so that's called allocation of raw materials. Means you decide who gets raw materials. So the market decides all of that. Oh, this is a really important one. I don't know if you studied about this. Credit. What is credit?
The money.
Where do I get money if I need credit? Where do I get money? At the bank.
The bank.
Same thing. If I have a company, I need to borrow money from my company. Who decides if I can borrow? The bank, not the government. Okay. So in China, the government owned all the banks, and the government made that decision. Do you know it?
Deng
Yeah, this is Deng Xiaoping, 1978 to 1989. Now the interesting thing about this guy, he was legally, officially in charge until 1989, but actually he continued until he died. I think the day he died, he was still making laws.
Come on.
So he died in the 1990s. But this man is considered the economic genius who changed China's economy. So until 1978, the government owned everything. There's no private company, no private ownership. And he's the guy who said, hey, we got to change the system. And he changed the system.
Deng Xiaoping.
Deng Xiaoping. And we have a new word.
Socialism with Chinese characteristics.
Okay, so socialism means something like communism, right? But it's not the same, right? North Korea and China, they're different, right? Which two countries are a little bit alike? If I, think about 5 communist countries, which two are very much alike?
North Korea and China.
Yeah, I was with China and Vietnam. China and Vietnam, right? Because Vietnam is a free country. You can go to Vietnam, you can visit. Go to China, you can visit, you can study, you can do anything. But North Korea, still very difficult. Cuba, very difficult. Laos, I guess you can go there, but nothing happening there. All right. So, 1978, they start to do the reform. Okay, and they allow people to own property. POE, what is POE? Enterprise. Enterprise is another word for company, business, right? You have a private business. Market-driven prices. Okay, more freedom, citizens to choose their job or business, and stock market. Cambodia have a stock market?
Yeah.
Yes. How many stocks?
2.
12.
Not too many.
3.
About 4. I think it's about 4. Okay, so they're growing. Okay, you're growing. You're starting. Okay, so China started their stock market in 1991. Convertible currency. What is currency?
Money.
Money. What does convertible mean? Change. Before 1978, if you had Chinese money and you went to Germany and you want to change, no. Today, if you take Lao kit, right?
Yeah.
Kit. Take the kit and you go to Germany and you want to change?
No.
Probably? No. Okay, well what about Chinese currency now? Yes. What about dollars?
Yes.
Okay. Dollars everywhere. It's called a convertible currency. I go anywhere, they'll change it for me. Okay, if I have North Korea, I don't even know what their money's called. If I have North Korea money paper, I don't know if you can change it. Probably not. Okay, so that's called convertible currency. So Chinese currency now is mostly convertible. What's the name of Chinese currency? Yuan. Okay, don't confuse with Japanese. Yen. And this is yuan, and not yun. So, Chinese currency, it has 3 names, by the way, and you'll hear 3 different names. One is yuan, one is renminbi, which is, yeah, that's what we call it in Chinese. When we speak Chinese, we call it the renminbi, in the abbreviation RMB. And then Chinese New Yuan, CNY. And if you look it up in the internet, how much is it worth? Usually they'll have this word, CNY. And who is this on the money? And if you notice, he's on all the money. Okay, this one, do you know about? International Monetary Fund. Is that something you know about? Do you know about World Bank?
Yes.
Okay, so the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, before they had 4 currencies they put in a basket. And when countries need to borrow, they could take some of that money. Can you guess which 4 currencies they used to use? Dollars.
Yen.
Yen.
Euro.
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 One more.
Pound.
Pound. Great Britain pound. 4. And in 2015 they added one more. Right. Real. Okay, so today we have this socialism with Chinese characteristics, but China is still not a 100% free market economy. The government allows a lot of things. You can own companies, you can do things, but although China's economy is more market oriented, the government still controls much of allocation of resources. For example, the steel company is owned by the government and they only give steel to a government factory. So if you open a private factory, you have to go to other country to buy your steel, and then what? Very expensive, and tax and everything like that, right? Availability of credit, same thing. Until recently, the government owned all the banks. And so the government would actually order the bank, hey, loan money to that company. And if you're a private company, maybe they didn't loan money to you, and so you couldn't borrow money. It's changing, everything's changing. Conversion of the RMB. How much is the real?
4,000.
Roughly 4,000, right? Changes a little bit. It's been 4,000 for like 15 years. Like your whole life it's been 4,000. Okay. The dollar and the real has been 4,000. How about dollar and yuan?
20 yuan.
One more.
17, 16.
6, around 6, a little bit more than 6. What about Vietnam? Dong.
20,000.
I think
20,000. Okay. So these other currencies, most currencies in the world, like if you say euro and dollar, the price is determined by the market. But in China, the government controls the price of the RMB. Okay, so because they don't want it to go too low, they don't want it to go too high, they control. They also control the stock market. If the stock market drops too much, the government will. Yeah. And capital flight. Can anybody guess what that means? Flight means leaving.
Yeah.
What is capital?
City.
Capital means money. The government doesn't want money leaving China. Ooh, how does this affect Cambodia? And we're talking about China, but now the government of China doesn't want people to take their money out of China. Why do you think people want to take their money out? So they can invest? Stable? Which, if you had a lot of money, which currency would you buy?
US.
Dollar.
Dollars.
Where can I buy dollars in Asia? Where's some place where I can buy dollars? In Asia, no, I mean like all the dollars I want. I could buy $1 million, I could buy $2 million. Where can I go very easy to buy dollars?
Bank.
Which Cambodia, right? Cambodia uses dollars. You have a lot of dollars here. If I fly to Taipei, I can go to a bank and they can sell me some dollars. But if I come to Cambodia, it's unlimited dollars here. So if I'm a Chinese person and I have money hidden in my house, I don't want anybody to know about it. I take it in a suitcase, I go on the airplane, I fly to Cambodia. What do I do? Exchange. I can change. I can buy dollars, or maybe I can invest, or both. And if I invest in Cambodia, if I buy a house, or I buy property in Cambodia, and then I make some profit, that profit is paid to me in dollars, right? Not in real. Okay, so that's why, that's one of the many reasons why Chinese people want to invest in Cambodia. The government's trying to prevent Chinese money from leaving China. 150,000 SOEs, what is that? State-owned enterprise. Account for 17% of urban employment. So in China, even today, rich cities, 17% of people still work in the government-owned company. Okay? 22% of industrial income and 38% of China's industrial assets. So the state-owned companies own a lot of industry, a lot of factories and things like that. Oh, what is this called? What is this? Did you learn this yet?
Special.
This is called a citation. Citation, it means information from here, not from here. Okay. And I did this for your book. And it says Liger 2015. Liger, sorry. I lived in Germany a long time. That's Liger in German. Okay. In China, they have a policy called going out policy. Started in 1999. What do you think it means, going out? Yeah, Chinese companies, China wants Chinese companies to go into other countries and invest. Okay, so they come to Cambodia, but they go everywhere, even in my country, US, Africa, everywhere. Since 1990s, Chinese companies have been encouraged to go abroad and invest in, what's this? Minerals, technology, energy, natural resources, and food. Okay, which ones can they get in Cambodia? Minerals, yes?
Energy.
Technology? Energy, a little bit. Natural resources, a lot. And food. Remember China, young man said China has the biggest population, right? It's impossible for China to grow enough food.
Right.
Okay, China is called a net food importer. Okay, means they don't grow enough food, they have to import. What about U.S.? Everybody's fat in the U.S., right? But we are a net food exporter, right? The U.S. exports food, believe it or not. Cambodia exports rice. Okay, so maybe now China will also be buying rice in Cambodia. Chinese companies also list on foreign stock exchanges. So there's Chinese companies in New York on the New York Stock Exchange. Why do they do that? If I buy Chinese company in New York, I pay with dollars, and they can get more dollars. Okay, now, in the last few years, what happened in 2007, 8, 9? What happened in the world? Global financial crisis. Okay, did this affect China? Yes. What happened in China was they had the same problem everyone else had, but the government took a lot of money out of their savings, and they spent it. Okay, if the government builds a road, how does that help the people? If the government builds a road, how does it help? Jobs? Transportation. Also, when you build a road, you have to buy materials, electricity, water, concrete, machines, blah, 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 blah. So when the government spends money to build a stadium, to build a road, to build something, it helps the people. So the Chinese government took a lot of money out of savings. They built a lot of trains. You see on the news, right? China has the high-speed rail, the new bus, magnetic rail, all these crazy, interesting things they build in China. And that was to help the people during the financial crisis. But there's a problem with that. That money is borrowed. What must they do now? Pay it back. So now China's starting to have a problem with debt. They have another problem, which is before 1979, you know, here during the Khmer Rouge time, school? No. University? No. Okay, China was the same way. Okay? And then when they reopened the universities in the 1980s, and now a lot of parents have money, they want their children to go to university, so a lot of Chinese children go to university. Do you know how many children graduate university every year in China?
Million.
More than a million.
Million.
7 million. It's almost like half the population of Cambodia. 7 million kids graduate university every year in China, and guess what? They can't find a job, right? Because they don't want to work in the factory. They don't want to work in the factory, right? They want some good job, okay? And they can't find a job. So now they're starting to have unemployment. Unemployment means what? No job. Can't find a job, okay, among young college graduates, and also China has a lot of debt. So now China's changing their plan a little bit. So when they do this going out and they invest in another country, they focus on job creation. Do you know that there's Chinese workers who come to Cambodia to work, right? That's part of the thing. They're creating jobs for them, obtaining new markets for Chinese products. What does that mean?
Or find a market for them to export.
Very good. Find a market for them to export to. How about in Cambodia now? Do you have Chinese products?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when I first lived in Cambodia, like 12 years ago, every product, toothpaste,
Made in China.
shampoo, no, 12 years ago, every product was
Vietnam.
Thailand. Everything was Thailand. And then around 2010, start to change and start to have made in Vietnam, and now made in China, right? More and more finding made in China. But toothpaste, usually not made in China. Thailand, right?
Like products, skin products, like maintenance products, a lot from Thailand.
From Thailand, right? Okay.
The
And
thing
then,
is great, good quality.
good quality and price is not too bad. Okay, but now we start to see more and more products from China. More, especially like shoes and of course technology.
Computer,
Computers, right?
phone.
Phones.
Là ai ấn soạn thi.
Cambodia and China. The exception of 2009, the Cambodian GDP has grown by 6% or more every year for the last 10 years. What does that mean? Cambodia is
Rapidly.
better and better. Now, if I put my money in the bank and I just get some interest, how much interest do you think the bank will pay me? 2%. So if I put my money in Cambodia economy, 6%. Okay, so that's a simple way to think about it. We look at the GDP of the country, how much is it growing by? If it's growing by more than the bank amount, easy. I invest in anything in Cambodia and I go up 6% every year instead of 2%. That's one way of thinking of it. So what about like some country that has negative GDP? Yeah, like some countries, like in Africa, there's countries with negative GDP.
Zimbabwe.
GDP is growing by -2. Okay, so what should I do with my money? Invest in that country? Put it in the bank and get 2%. Yeah, I can get 2% interest in the bank, exactly. Okay, so that's actually the end of my information. So let me ask you, what do you think? Why do you think China wants to invest in Cambodia?
Because Cambodia have like the investor pay less money to the labor so they can get more profit.
Okay, so, right, the labor in Cambodia is cheaper than labor in China. How much does a factory worker in Cambodia earn? 120 and maybe some overtime and maybe 150. Okay, so in China now, maybe almost 400. Yeah, almost $400 a month for a factory worker. So cheaper here. Okay, what else? What's another reason China wants to invest here? Tax. Can you tell me?
Is it like the less tax? The Cambodian government charge less tax?
Yeah, sometimes the Cambodian government actually charges less tax. So a Chinese company can open here, make the product here, and sell to USA or something, right? Not back to China. And then they can avoid, maybe can avoid China tax or decrease China tax. Yep, what else?
Because because Cambodian economy is growing rapidly, more than 6% every year. So if they invest money, their company will earn a lot of money.
Okay, right, and that's right. So some companies, maybe they make a product here, and maybe they're going to sell it here because the country's getting richer, right? Cambodia's getting richer. You know, we were driving here today. We're so far from Phnom Penh. So far from Phnom Penh, and still I see the nice coffee shop. They have the nice coffee shop close to here. I said, wow, it's getting richer and richer. Okay. Anything else? Another reason why China might invest here.
Good relationship with Cambodia.
Okay, yeah, Cambodia and China have good political relationship, right? Something else? Okay, right. They generally want to import products into Cambodia. What might they buy in Cambodia and bring back to China? Raw materials. Or if I build a factory here, I don't have to send the raw material back to China, right? Right, we can make the products here and export it. Okay, that's another thing. If the raw materials are here, maybe I want to build a factory here too. Okay, so, yes?
The land is cheap.
Yeah, land is cheap, the rent is very cheap, right? Yeah, very good. All right, so there's a lot of reasons why China wants to invest in Cambodia. There's a lot of reasons why Cambodia can benefit from China. How about you guys? What do you want to do when you grow up? When you graduate, do you want to go abroad for university? Or?
Yeah.
To be
Almost
husband.
everybody? Where do you want to go?
US. UK.
Who said Taipei? Who said Taipei?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. In Chinese university, we have to do this. Stand up. Hands like this. Xin li. 谢谢老师。Thank you. Bye bye.
Oh, thanks so much.